Loan, From the Life of a Phoenix, is an autobiography that Isabelle Müller wrote in the narrative of her mother, a Vietnamese woman named Loan. She lived in the turbulent times in Vietnam, then in France and Algeria. In every place Loan had been, she faced huge challenges and always overcome by the belief in herself and the strong will to live proudly like a phoenix. Through the main character's life, the readers can see the unforgettable periods of Vietnamese history. Written in German, first published in 2015, this book was in the top 5 in the Kindle Storyteller Deutsche Self-Publishing Award, ranked the best seller on Amazon, Germany, and has been translated into different languages. The autobiography was translated into Vietnamese by Trương Hồng Quang and published in the protagonist's home country in March 2018. The book has been warmly received by Vietnamese readers. Remarkably, with a very strong will, Isabelle Müller founded a charity foundation named Loan. Loan's think tank focuses on supporting poor children in the northern mountainous provinces such as Hà Giang, Cao Bằng, Lào Cai, in order to encourage them to study and light up their dreams for a better life.
You are watching Sharing Vietnam on VTC10 Net Việt. Would you like to know more about the stories in and related to this book? In today's program, let's have a talk with Miss Isabelle Müller, the writer of this book. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much for inviting me.
Your book was successful in both Germany and Vietnam. Are you surprised?
When I hear deep in myself, I am not surprised, because I think this is something my mother deserves, representing her generation. I wanted to write this book as a dedication to my mother and to all the other mothers in this country. So it was some kind of wish that I had inside, but it was a secret wish. It was just for me important to fulfill my promise, to keep my promise, and then now seeing that the Vietnamese readers are so curious and that they want to know more about her story and they want to learn about how she could be this strong through the struggle in life. I am so happy and lucky, and I think my mother is also very happy to see this.
Yeah. You said that you kept thinking of this book for about 30 years. Why did you need such a long time?
The journey was pretty long. The first idea, the first seed of this idea happened when I was already 6 years old. I was very young, but I was so impressed about all the stories my mother had told me that I swore her, I promised her, I said, when I am older, I promise you to write a book about your amazing story, because this is something so precious that needs to be shared and shown to the world. And then when I was about 15, 16, I started the first time to write this book. Yeah. But I couldn't make it because I was not mature enough. Yes. I was kind of a young girl dreaming, and it was all written like a roman, like a story that you would find, as a romantic story. And I thought, no, it's not right. I cannot describe exactly her feelings. Yeah. And so I had to wait many, many years until I would have the high and lows in my own life to be able to describe her deep feelings inside. Yeah. And this is why it took me a few decades to realize this project. But after all, when I was finished with this book, I was thankful, because I knew that I could describe her emotions.
Actually, I read your book from the beginning to the end, and I wonder, you wrote about the story of your mother's life, and the whole thing, you didn't witness it. How could you write it so vividly?
Well, when I finished the book, it was already after my mother passed away in the year 2003. And I have been to Vietnam before. I visited for the first time Vietnam in the 90s. So I could have an idea about the country itself. And my mother also told me and described me a lot about the mentality of Vietnamese people and about almost everything through different aspects like the kitchen, what they love to eat, how they cook, how they live, how they think, how they react in confrontation with the special situations. This is why I already had a little idea about this country before I came to Vietnam and before I could really start to write this book.
And let's talk about your mother. I'd like to know what is the most important thing that you learned from her.
The most important thing is not to judge before you can make your own opinion. She always believed in fate, and everybody has something to achieve in life.
Yeah.
So you have a certain journey to go during your life, and this was her journey, and my journey is bringing me over Vietnam.
Yeah.
The trips to Vietnam urged Isabelle Müller to start a new journey. It is a charitable foundation to have children in the most remote mountainous provinces in the north of Vietnam. The idea has received enthusiastic support from the partners.
I am a good friend of Isabelle Müller for a long time. I knew about her idea of creating a foundation to help people and the poor children in north of Vietnam. 3 years ago, when she told me that she's flying to Vietnam for the first time to see the situation there, I felt from the bottom of my heart that it's my duty to accompany her coming to Vietnam, and I asked to go with her to begin Loan Stiftung's projects.
Launched in 2016, the Loan Stiftung aims to improve educational conditions for children in Hà Giang, Cao Bằng, Lào Cai provinces. In Hà Giang province particularly, in the past 2 years, the foundation has implemented 12 programs and projects with a total of it was about 6.8 billion VND. Loan Stiftung's projects focus on activities such as the construction of student residence and toilets, support package for teaching, construction of the school site, and especially support the orphans in Xin Cai commune until they complete high school through the sponsorship from the German families.
Let's talk about Loan Foundation. Could you tell me more about the size and the membership of the foundation?
Oh, we are a little foundation. I would say that we are about 10 or 12 members because new members always are addicted or come in addition to our foundation because they want to work as a volunteer. Yeah. So in fact now in the past months I have new volunteers coming from Vietnam. I have one volunteer coming from Ho Chi Minh City. I have 2 volunteers coming from Hà Giang province. And now I have one new volunteer coming from Hanoi. So the team is growing and we have all the same goal. We want to help with our abilities. So it's a kind of team. It's little. Everybody works for, without money. I mean, without getting some payment. We work for charity as a volunteer. We do our best, and we don't have any cost. It means no administration cost. We don't spend the money of the foundation in order to pay our trips. You know, the plane, the hotels, and all these things that other big foundations do. And I want to do something different. I said, I promise, and this is my reputation and my word, I said, each cent that you put in this foundation will stay for the projects. And all the trips, all the costs that we have, each of us pay this from our own pocket money.
So every member of your foundation works with all of your heart,
yes,
right?
Yes, we do. We do, because we believe, we have a vision. We believe that if we do something good, we will give some hope to these people that need hope.
About Loan's foundation activities in Vietnam, what difficulties do you have to face?
Oh, the main difficulties are the roads. Yes, not the human difficulties, because we cooperate very well. I am a very severe partner. I must say that I have very, very severe conditions of working, because I want to be sure that everybody will be honest and will do its best. And I also want and appreciate when each village, the people living there in those remote villages also cooperate and contribute with their own abilities to help us realize these projects. And of course, the biggest difficulty we encounter are the roads. Yeah, the roads over there are awful and very dangerous. And it's a challenge for us, as a European especially, to drive these ways, and it's stressful every time. Yes. I would say, if you would have told me before to go there by motorcycle and drive on a tiny way that is this wide, where you have the mountain coming down next to you, I would have said, you do it by yourself, I'm not crazy. But we are there and we have no choice, we do it. And we always say, we are doing something good, you please protect us.
Yes. But the point here is, when you have no choice, you do it, right? But you keep doing it again and again.
Yes, because we see the results. We see the wonderful results. We see the happiness of these people, and it's a big motivation for us. We cannot stop now. Yeah. We cannot stop. Why should we?
Besides providing the material support, I would like to know more about your activities to inspire children in north of Vietnam.
Of course, we bring material advantages. We build kindergartens and primary schools, and we buy equipment, or we support also the education of orphans that don't have any parents and that are in need. But of course, we also give love and hope. And we are a kind of example. My mother came from a very remote area. She had nothing, but she could raise up 5 children successfully abroad. You are right, the word inspiration is very meaningful. We want to inspire these minority children and the teachers and all the communities in those remote areas to believe in their dreams. This book is a part of the foundation because the money that I earn as a writer goes to 100% to the Loan Foundation. It means that all the money I earned for each book, I don't keep it in my pocket, I put it in the Loan Foundation. I have a kind of dream. I would like to see the Loan book in the schools and universities. I would like the young people to study this book and to study this story and try to think about this, to get the strength of this book that gives you some advice and helps you cope with life.
Thank you so much for your sharing today and for all your activities with Loan Book and the Foundation.
Yes, you are welcome.
And that's all we have for this episode of Sharing Vietnam. Thanks for watching. Goodbye and see you again.